Alright guys, welcome back to Duty's Daggers. Today we're talking about some Jack Wolves. These are my Jack Wolves here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. These 4 are slip joints. This one here is the Gunslinger, my only Jack Wolf that is a locking knife. And I just kind of want to talk about these. I've had some of them for a while. Some of them I've gotten recently. And I've never done a video where I just had all of them out and just kind of talked about them. I also want to talk about my journey with Jack Wolf. I think a lot of you guys are going to relate to this. So, first, before we start, please subscribe to the channel. Look down there. Make sure you are, please. And like the video, too. That'd be cool. So, I've been buying Jack Wolves now for probably about a year. Now, before that, I had never tried one. And I just assumed that, well, I didn't assume. My thinking was that they were too expensive for what you were getting. Their kind of base price is about $300, and for viewing that from the outside and having never tried one, a lot of people would say that's too much money. Let's just get them out here. See, I like the jigged tie versions, and I like the wood. So what happened was, that was my view for a long time. Is they look really nice, but they're just $300 is a lot, and it still is a lot. That's why I don't have a bunch of them. It's because they're freaking expensive, man. But I saw one on sale one day, and it happens to be one that I don't have anymore. I liked it, but I moved it on and bought a different one instead. It was the Low Drag Jack. It happened to be on sale. I forget where it was, but instead of the 300, it was like 240 or something like that. So a pretty good deal, and I decided to go for it. 240 I felt like was a lot more reasonable for the knife, so I bought it. And once I got it, something kind of clicked in my mind, and I realized why people like them so much. And I'm going to try to put it into words here. They are very indestructible feeling. They feel different than a traditional slip joint. If you've handled case knives or GECs or any kind of more traditional slip joint, you don't know what a Jack Wolf feels like. They don't feel like that at all. A couple reasons for that. The materials. We have titanium instead of brass and micarta and wood, and well, we do have wood. It's just titanium. That's it. There's no brass liners in here. There's no stainless bolsters, no brass bolsters, nothing. Just titanium and the blade. The back springs are very strong and stiff and just very tight and solid feeling. They just feel like you can have this for 1,000 years and it would still look just like this. They are made very well. The fit and finish is very nice. I mean, the back springs are just completely 100% flush and just really nice looking. The blades are ground super duper thin and precisely. The patterns are traditional patterns, but with just modern elements. So I bought that Low Drag Jack, and it started to click. I really, really liked it. I ended up selling that one to buy this one, the Laid Back Jack. This was my second Jack Wolf, and really loved it. This was my first time having the jigged titanium on a Jack Wolf. I really loved it. The hand satin blade also I really liked. Then I bought my first one for full price, which was, I think, this one. I paid a full $300 for this one because I really liked the pattern. Someone sent me this is the Vampire Jack. Someone sent me theirs to cut in an easy open notch on it, and that was my first time handling one. Once I handled that one, I was like, all right, I need one. This is really good. The reason I bought it is because this is a blade shape that can do everything. It's a nice low-tipped spear point, and it has the belly when you need it, but it's got the low tip if you want to do utility cutting. So this is a knife that you can carry all by itself and be totally fine. That's kind of the reason I wanted a nice spear point Jack Wolf knife. So I bought this one, loved it, and you could tell this one's had a lot of love. A lot of wear and tear on the titanium, and I think it makes it look even better. I mean, yeah, it just looks so good. So soon after, I bought a gunslinger. I bought it used from I forget from who. It was not this one. And then this version came out. I saw the wood version with the plain satin backspacer, I guess backspacer. And I thought, man, that looks so good. So I sold my other one to be able to buy this one. And that's, we're all up to date. This one I bought full price as well, my little bro. Actually, you know what? That's wrong. This was on a sale at TPK. This was on sale, yeah, for sure. So now I have 4 slip joints, 1 locking knife, and I love them. So $300 is a lot, and I've actually had a conversation with Ben on the phone about the pricing of the knives, because I wanted to learn more. As an outsider looking in, $300 is like, why? What's going on here? So I wanted to know more. I wanted to find out why they were so expensive. So we talked on the phone, and he explained that his vision for these knives were set in stone. He wanted them to come with the nice tubes with the awesome artwork on them. He wanted them to come with the stickers, the pins, the nice microfiber, and the slip, and just that whole package. He really wanted them to be like that. And if he wanted that to happen, this was the price that they needed to be. He didn't go over, obviously, like specific numbers with me, but he said, this is how I want the knives to sell. This is the image I want to portray with these knives. And around $300 is it just is what it is. He's not making a killing on these things. Obviously he's making a little bit of profit. And after he explained it made a little more sense. Yeah, he could sell one of these knives in just a regular cardboard box with nothing, and maybe it would be like, I don't know, $250 or something like that. I'm just guessing. But he doesn't want to. He wants them to come with all the cool shit, and I get it. It's Jack Wolf knives have a vibe, and he's cultivated that. So, like it or not, that's what they are. And I will tell you that 100% of people, after they try one, their view on the $300 changes a little bit. Every single person I've talked to that was like, man, I'll never buy a Jack Wolf. $300 is too much. Every single person has said, after they got one or tried one, they were like, all right, yeah, I kind of want one now. So, and you could be different, you just got to try one and see. But I would recommend not writing them off completely. I would try one and just see what you think. If you still don't think it's worth $300, then cool, you don't have to buy one. Personally, this is probably, I don't see myself buying any more Jack Wolves. I have everything I want right here on his current catalog. And maybe he'll come out with a new pattern sometime that I really like. Who knows, maybe I'd buy another one. But as far as the knives, the Jack Wolves that are out right now, this is what I've always wanted. This is what I always wanted to get, and I have them, and I'm very happy and satisfied. So, let's go through these babies. The Vampire Jack. Talked a little bit about it. Really nice spear point. This is an S90V. Actually, I think they all are an S90V. Pretty sure. The jig is titanium with the 2 faux bolsters. We got the, I guess, vampire handle, coffin handle, kind of. I don't know. Um, we got a nice notch for the sharpening choil. I really like the notch. It just looks cool, and also it gives you a nice bit of room. You can tell we're getting a little bit of a smile there. It's not too bad though. As far as slip joints go, you really don't get sharpening choils ever. I mean, especially in like traditional slip joints, you just don't really get sharpening choils. So this is definitely better than nothing. The hand satin is really beautiful. I like the hand satins. I've noticed that the hand satin versions of these knives are ground. They seem to be ground a little thicker behind the edge than the belt sanded ones, the belt ground bevels. I don't know if that's just a coincidence or if it's because they have this finish. Maybe they don't grind them as thin. I don't know, but these two are much thinner behind the edge. These two belt satins are much thinner behind the edge than these two hand satin. So, for whatever reason, that's just the case on these guys. But it's really nice to have the hand rub satin because it's so much easier to clean the blade off. You know, the lines are going this direction, so you just get a rag and wipe it off, you're good. This one, you get a rag and you wipe it this way, it doesn't really get everything off because little crud is getting stuck in those tiny grooves that are going this way. So you almost need to get your cloth and kind of like pull it and wipe it this way, and it's just kind of a hassle. These are much easier to wipe off and clean. So that's one reason I like them. Another, they just look good. The walk and talk on this one is quite strong. They're all quite strong, but this one is, well, we'll see. I think it's one of the strongest, but listen to this. That's so nice. Whew, that is a snappy click, man. Next, we'll talk about the low drag jack. This is a pretty classic sway back design. Really perfect size for just an easy, lightweight utility cutter. This is such a good size. Really, really, really good size. Same notch sharpening choil. Just a typical Wharncliffe blade with the sway back. You got the jig tie. This one I think has the most wear on the tie. I've just had it longest and I think carried it the most out of all these. And man, does that look good. Look at that. Now this one I've had the least amount of time, so you can kind of tell the difference on the like a new finish versus a used one. So this is how they come. This is how they look after a while. Or you could keep them looking like this if you're just really careful and keep them in a slip all the time. And just be careful not to scratch them. But I think they look better like this. Like I can't wait for this one to start looking more worn in. This finish they use, it just attracts wear a little bit more. Almost like it's not exactly like, but it reminds me a little bit of the finish that Chris Reeve uses. Like on the small Sebenza here, it just wears, you know. It's not like just plain tie. Like there's some kind of blasted finish on it. I think this is a bead blasted finish. So this is some kind of blasted finish. I just don't know what exactly. Because it's darker than just plain tie. You know, like this is plain tie. And this is some kind of finish. So I think it looks really good when it wears. So this is the Sharpshooter Jack. It's the slip joint version of the Gunslinger here. I like both of these a lot. This one I think I carry a little bit more. And we'll go into the reason why when we get to the Gunslinger. But this is a great user, man. This is ground super duper thin, especially up at the tip. I mean, yeah. It's a clip point, but the tip is like kind of low. Like if you look in relation to the handle, it's kind of like almost lower than the center line of the handle. So you can do utility cuts with it. You can, you know, obviously do like almost like food prep style chopping, like ropes. It's easy to get the tip down and then rock back on this kind of severe part of belly here and just pop that rope really easy. It's got a long pull on it, which is different than all these. These have just regular nail nicks. So that looks really nice. Same sharpening choil notch thing. Gunstock style handle. Jig tie, of course, S90V. And great walk and talk. I mean, not one of these has bad walk and talk. Some are, I mean, they're all very strong, and some are stronger than others. This one, let's see. I think the Vampire is still the strongest. This one sounds a little different. That sounds really good. Yeah, anyways. So those are my 3 jig to tie ones. Look at that. Look at that. Look at those sexy babies. And then this is my little bro jack. This is my most recent purchase. And I really like this. It's more lightweight because it's smaller, and also because it's got the wood inlay instead of just, more titanium there. S90V, similar blade shape to the Sharpshooter. Nice clip point. Although I do think the belly comes down a little further on this one, which actually makes it really good for on a surface type cutting, utility cuts, anything where you're down on a surface. This is ground super duper thin. It's very thin at the tip, more of a precision knife, and I really like it. I carry this knife when I'm, want just something lightweight. Usually it's a weekend, or I'm wearing shorts or something. This is usually the slip joint I put in my pocket because it's just nice and lightweight, and just really functional too, and very classy. That is a very classy looking knife. The Walk and Talk is probably, it's funny, I think it's the weakest of all of these, but compared to all other slip joints, it's still on the strong side. So it's just really good. I mean, super duper good. Another cool thing is they don't use stop pins. So traditional slip joints don't use stop pins either. They have what's called a knock, and it's this part of the tang, and that's what slams into the back spring there. You can kind of even see where it slams in, that little bright line there. That's how they're traditionally done. Now, some modern slip joints actually have stop pins, because whatever is something with the geometry of the back spring and the blade, it's just easier for them to put in a stop pin. See that? And that way, I guess you can have this area cut out a little bit more, and it just hits the stop pin. So anyways, it really doesn't matter, but it's just kind of cool that he chose to do it in a more traditional way with the Jack Wolf knives. They're done traditionally, with no stop pin, so that's cool. That's kind of it. Oh wait, the Gunslinger. So this is the Gen 2 Gunslinger, and the only difference is they are ground a little bit thicker than the original Gunslingers. The original Gunslingers were like freaking laser beams. It was insane how slicey they were. This is also nice and slicey, but it's a little bit thicker behind the edge. Now the reason for that is he said they were having trouble with centering issues because it was so thin up here. It was just kind of unreliable, like how they were being ground side to side. So they made it just a little thicker behind the edge. It's a little bit more of a heavy-duty knife now. I mean, before it was so thin, it was like almost you need to be careful with the tip. Like, it was so thin. So this one you really don't have to worry about as much. So that's nice in a way too. And it really doesn't bother me. I honestly can't really tell the difference in the sliciness. It still cuts really nicely. This is such a fun knife. It's got a front flipper and the reverse flicking fuller there. It's nice and smooth. And such good acoustics, man. This thing makes a ting noise. I don't know if it's going to come through the microphone or not, but absolutely tings. So cool, man. I think it's because of the long, thinly ground blade. I think that's what does it. I don't know, though. Who knows? This is my favorite version because it's got the satin backspacer. It reminds me more of like a traditional slip joint, how the backspacer would be satin like this. It just kind of looks more like a slip joint instead of a locking knife. Also, the clip was a satin clip too. I actually took mine off. My only complaint with the knife is the clip. because it sits pretty close to the surface of the scale. And when I'm wearing my thick seamed Carhartts, the seam can't actually go all the way up because it's too thin in there and it gets stuck like, I don't know, a quarter inch away from being completely in my pocket. Now, if I'm wearing like, thin jeans or something, it's fine. But I took it off because I thought maybe I would start carrying it in a slip. And I haven't gotten around to making a slip for this yet. I don't know. I'll try carrying a slip for a while. I might just put the clip back on. It's not like the worst of things. It was just a little thing that I noticed. Such a cool knife, man. S90V. I would recommend, if you like the aesthetic, I would really recommend getting one. If you find one used or if you ever does another drop on them, they're just really cool. The first time I handled one was at a little knife show here in California, and Jack Wolf is there. Ben had one of these sitting out on the table, and I picked it up. I flicked it, and I heard the ting noise, and I front flipped it, saw how snappy it was, and I said, I need this. Unfortunately, it was a demo only show knife, and he couldn't sell it to me, so I had to wait until I found one on my own. But I knew that I was gonna have one after I tried it. It's just great, man. It's a very classy knife, It's just really knife looking. Like, it reminds you of just, I don't know. It's just classic. It reminds you of a classic knife, and it's classy in that way. So, bam. There you go. Jack Wolf. That's my collection. Hope you guys enjoyed. Leave me a like, please, and I'll see you next time.